Welcome to Movie Valhalla, where brave movies go to live forever. While there's so many movie podcasts out there that just focus on the negatives and poking fun at lower budgeted movies, we decided we wanted to be a little different here and only dwell on the positives. And we're not going to do the big Hollywood movies. We're going to do the little movies that can, the brave movies, the movies where the directors and actors and set designers and special effects artists really put themselves out there and attempted something daring and different and independent. So those are the movies that deserve to be Movie Valhalla, and those are the movies we're going to talk about. Welcome to Movie Valhalla, the place where brave movies live forever. There are many different movie podcasts out there in the world, and almost all of them make fun of B movies. But that's not what we do here. We want to be a little bit different. We're going to celebrate these B movies just for their good qualities. Sometimes it's more difficult than other times, but we'll power through it and find a way. So with me today, with a very easy time, is Angello-shots.
Good to be here. Thanks.
And James is back again.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me again.
And we are going to talk about a landmark in independent films. And I mean that completely honestly. It's a little production by one of my absolute favorite movie studios, I don't know, group of three guys that make movies, called Astron 6. And Astron 6 are some extreme low-budget filmmakers from up north. And among other things, they used to make a lot of short films, and their big influences were 80s horror, and you can really tell they have this love for not only just horror, but practical effects in general, but all the old-school ways of doing stuff. And Manborg, just to give some quick background, synopsis, it's the story of Count Draculon leading the legions of hell in a battle against the Earth's forces. He wins. But our main character, who basically is killed during the war, is resurrected as the Manborg. And then James, tell the audience a little bit something about what the Manborg even is.
He's a combination of man and robot parts, a cyborg, if you will, but like none we've ever seen. He's RoboCop on steroids, is how I like to describe him. He's extremely powerful, extremely strong, and still has a little bit of humanity in him as well. So
my name is Manborg.
He's not fully embraced the Borg part, so he does have some of his humanity left inside.
Yes, absolutely. And then our other important characters are number one man.
That's my favorite, I think.
Yeah, why is he your favorite?
Just because his voice is dubbed and hilarious.
Whatever do you mean? Why would a small Asian man not have a deep baritone voice?
I had no other choice. This is terrible.
Yeah, number one man, he was perpetually shirtless the entire film and dressed like a kick fighter from the 80s, and that's who he is, basically.
Yes.
And then, James, do you remember anything about Justice or Mina?
Justice is he's my favorite character because he's kind of a big dumb brute.
You get in my way, I'll kill you.
What?
And Angello-shots said he looked exactly like Billy Idol and sounded like him too.
Oi! You answer me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oi,
he does.
Oi.
Yeah, he's kind of a dummy.
That's what that says right there.
4 cups water.
And then we bring it to a boil. No.
But he's that This is what I love about the movie, and I'll keep it real quick because I know we want to dive deep into it. The fact that Justice is this like cyberpunk 80s type character thrown in this mishmash of, and we'll talk about all the characters. It's perfect because it has, like you said, Brian, it has a little bit of everything in it. But Justice is this cyberpunk kind of dopey, tough guy. Yeah.
My name is Manborg.
Manborg? More like asshole.
Why don't you?
And he's my favorite character. I just think he's got some great lines, and he plays the part perfectly.
And then rounding out our cast is Mina, who has makeup straight out of Princess Mononoke, and all her actions are anime style in the movie.
Are you ready to rock and roll?
Just watch me.
Mina, no!
For our heroes, and then our villains include the Baron, and of course Count Draculon himself. So that's basically the movie. You got your heroic freedom fighters, you got the bad guys, and then let's all go through the stuff about this movie that's great. And this is an easy one because this is a legitimately great movie. It just happens to be a very low budget B movie too. So let's see. James, you want to start us off? What's one thing you found great about this movie?
The thing that I liked so great about this movie is how they tie all the genres together.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, you had that 80s cyberpunk element, you have science fiction element, you have 80s style action karate movies in it as well. And your horror element with the Legions of Hell, and then you even have like that for whatever reason there's like a group of movies that uses like Nazi imagery,
Right.
like Werewolf Women of the SS type. So it's, even though they're not considered, they're not Nazis, they have the uniforms and the things that like Nazis or fascists would wear.
It's a great visual cue.
Yeah, it is.
That these are the bad guys. They're dressed
Exactly.
like Nazis.
They dress
Besides
like
the skull faces and the flying robots with like body part meat dripping off them, and besides that, they're also the bad guys because they're dressed like Nazis.
Exactly. So I just like that it ties all of these genres together, and they're not. And the great thing about it is they're not the genres that everybody latches on to. They all have their specific little fandoms, and yet they all come together to make this great movie that is just a ton of fun. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's a blast.
And it's short too. It's only an hour long. I mean, you're there and done. There's no wasted time in this movie at all.
Yeah.
And then kind of going what you're saying about the different genres. Have you ever seen I believe it's Charles Band. I'm pretty sure Charles Band 1980 movie, The Eliminators.
I have not. No.
So we'll do that again on another episode of this show because Eliminators is my favorite B movie of all time. I don't want to get into it now. It's just that Manborg is a direct homage to that movie. It's got some other things thrown in there, like you said too, but like a lot of the characters are just like complete transfer overs, like from that movie, really. And that just fascinated me when I first saw it. But yeah, with Manborg, it's so fun how they play with the genres, and they don't really subvert any of your 80s movie expectations. It really is a loving homage to that entire time period. Angello-shots, what's one of your favorite things about the movie?
I'd probably say the stop motion.
Yeah, what about it?
I kind of feel like it's a lost art, and they used a lot of it in that movie, and I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I think except for some Adobe After Effects explosions, the whole movie is stop motion when they have that effect. There's no terrible CGI robots or things like that. And,
Right.
And this is a really cheap B movie, so the stop motion looks fake. I mean, yeah, of course. But the style fits with the rest of the movie. And it's just fantastic to be watching a movie where there's not just one stop motion creature. There's like literally dozens upon dozens of them.
I just really wonder how much time they spent on the movie.
From what I remember, that's the level of research we do here. But I have read up about it before and seen the behind the scenes. It took them a couple years to film it, and they did it mostly on the weekends. And almost the entire movie was filmed inside a garage in front of a green screen. And it is an absolutely epic movie. Like, it is huge
That's
locations.
impressive.
It's super.
It really is. Yeah.
It is.
That's what I mean by, like, no kidding. Like, this movie is a feat of independent filmmaking. Because most independent films, they're people wandering around the woods. You know, boring people in coffee shops shot in black and white, just talking and talking for an hour and a half.
Johnny, baby, tell me, what's this new deal I got? I hear you got worked out.
You see, man, here it is. You know, I'm like the top accountant there is. I got this deal worked out down flat straight. I mean, I'm getting all the money. See, I got a lot of enemies. You know, I'm always thinking somebody's after me.
I get that feeling too sometimes. But with me, it's the chicks. Always following me, running around, and such.
This one has literally like 30 or 40 different kinds of monsters, huge battles, you know, choreographed fight scenes, just, oh my gosh, an entire futuristic dystopia cityscape. It's really incredible, to be honest, what they did.
You can tell that it's a labor of love, that they really wanted to do this, and while it looks cheesy on purpose, and it's meticulous on how cheesy they make it. It's not like they just threw a bunch of stuff together. They wanted it to look that way. They didn't make this movie to be stupid. They made the movie to have fun. They made the movie to be funny, and they made the movie because they love the 80s kitschiness of it. And I give a lot of credit to those guys because, like you said, Brian, some of these B movies just look bad, not because of it's basically just because of lack of effort. They really don't care. It's like, yeah, let's just shoot this in the woods, and oh yeah, whatever. Is that like an old lady in the background? Oh, who cares? These guys really wanted this to look a specific way. Boom mic in the way. They took care of this movie, and I appreciate what came out of it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys they're real filmmakers, and I don't know if you've ever seen any of their other movies like Father's Day or The Editor. Or
I saw Father's Day with you. Yeah. Remember?
Oh, did we all watch that together?
We watched it together. Yeah. Vastly different movie.
It is, yeah, and I still appreciate Father's Day. If you've never seen The Editor, that's the entire movie it's also a comedy, but it's an homage to the Giallo movies. There you are. You know, stuff like what's that movie with the ballerina girls that get killed with all the weird light and things like that?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about, right? They just remade it this past year.
Yeah, Suspiria.
Suspiria. Yeah.
Suspiria,
so the whole thing is an homage to that, basically, and it is absolutely just crazy. And it's interesting how talented these guys really are making this stuff, because they do different genres. Because, you know, like you said, Manborg is a throwback to 80s sci-fi action. Father's Day, of course, is a super gory horror movie. Then, The Editor is this Suspiria-style Italian movie, and The Editor, even, like, all the characters are dubbed just like the old Italian movies. They're all like slightly poorly dubbed, you know.
To the death, please.
We had to do a Father's Day episode once, Brian.
Oh man, that movie, it's still really good. It just honestly does kind of disturb me. Like,
it's disturbing.
That kind of body horror is like, oh gosh.
Yeah, I don't want to get off on that track, but if we have time, let's maybe do that at some point.
Sure, we can do that. We'll get Groucho in on that. I know he really liked that movie. So, all right, so keep going. What's another one of your favorite things about Manborg games?
The Baron. How could you not love the Baron?
Is it just like super kind of funny?
That's the guy
he's in love with
Mina. Yeah, he's trying to
seven.
Well, prisoner number seven. That's Mina. Yeah. Trying to hit on her all the time.
I just thought he's like really charming and like in a really funny kind of weird way.
And broken, scattered across the. Oh, hello. Who's this?
Prisoner number 7, sir.
Such a beautiful name.
He was charming.
He was. He really liked her. He was awkward. He
he
knows he's like a demon.
Yeah.
He understands that. But he may be a demon, but he has human feelings. And he was nice. He was like a bad guy, but he was nice.
Trying to give her flowers, and I just thought it was really sweet. I was like, man.
He's a great character. And the makeup, like you said, practical effects.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it was amazing.
He's not CGI. He's wearing a mask.
I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I think the Baron was played by the same actor who did Dr. Scorpius.
Okay.
Because this whole movie was basically like 6 different people doing all kinds of different roles. Because, like I said, they're just filming it, basically in their spare time.
Well, just to your point, maybe he wasn't that character, but a lot of these guys were also, music writers, directors, producers. I mean, they did everything in the movie.
I was telling Angello-shots that like these guys, Astron 6, that's like what our movie team would have been back in the day if we had way more talent and technical expertise. I feel like just their sense of humor, their sense of style and stuff. Like, oh my gosh, that's why I love these guys. It's like same kind of deal with have you ever read Bruce Campbell's book, The Confessions of a B-Movie Actor?
I have not.
Kids Could Kill. Well, there's a nice part in there where he gets just into like being a kid with Sam Raimi and the other guys and making all those films as kids, and you just read it and you're like, man, it's like I remember doing stuff just like that. It's so fascinating to see them obviously achieve extreme success. And the Astron 6 guys, in their own way, I feel like, in their very niche genre, they've achieved like similar kinds of success. Because boy, they win all kinds of independent film things, and they're just great at what they do, basically.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Angello-shots. What's another thing you like?
I was gonna talk about that guy.
About the Baron?
Yeah. Like,
what was
the flowers and the like being in love with the prisoner?
Was that your favorite moment with the Baron? Like with the flowers? Or was it him smoking because he's stressed out?
I forgot. Yes.
Baron, I thought you said you were gonna quit, and he just waves him away like he's annoyed.
Yeah. Get away from me, you peon.
Like, why does it matter? I'm smoking anyway.
Well, that's one of the things why this movie is to me is enduring and is funny with multiple watches, because you pick up little things like that. The first time you watch it, it's like an assault on your senses.
Yeah. Don't answer that.
Come on, guys.
Let's go.
My piece. Uh-huh.
You don't know what to think. You're like, what the hell? What's going on here? What kind of, you can't fit it into a box at all. But then you watch it multiple times upon multiple viewings. You pick out things like that you didn't see the first time, and the characters actually are intriguing and interesting. That's another thing about this movie. It's like you care about the characters. How many B movies do you watch where you actually are invested into the characters emotionally and you want to see them succeed? Yeah. Most of the time, you're just watching it and laughing at it, like, "Oh, this is so corny." In this movie, you're like following the action, being like, "Yeah, I want these
for them."
Exactly.
Well, like, yeah, I wanted to see if Justice would learn how to read and get his GED.
Right.
That's what that says right there.
4?
Well, and you're like mad that the Baron's on the wrong side. He's like on the bad guy side. And you're like, I don't want the Baron to be on the bad guy's side. I want to be on the good guy's side.
I don't think he was that bad.
He wasn't.
No, he definitely wasn't.
He's like Darth Vader. You want Darth Vader to be a good guy because he's so cool.
Well, that's why it's so satisfying. I mean, spoilers, I guess. Redemption at the end of Return of the Jedi. That's why it's so satisfying.
Right, absolutely. And if you're spoiled by that, then get a life.
Then where have you been?
This movie's made in 1984 or whatever. If you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault.
But talking about like influences from this movie, do you remember Dr. Scorpius, the guy who built Manborg, and he's like walking around with a limp, dressed all in white, and at one point Justice calls him a traitor. And this is like kind of a deep dive influence thing, but I'm almost positive I'm right about it just because I know Astron 6. I think his character was directly inspired by Kiefer Sutherland's character from Dark City.
Oh, yeah.
That Kiefer Sutherland's character, he has like a limp. He's the doctor working with the bad guys, to do all this stuff. And like, he's basically
not really a bad guy, but
well, he's a traitor though, in a
traitor.
way. Yeah. And so like, even the way Dr. Scorpius kind of moved and stuff with his brace and his cane, I was just thinking that because later on when he gives Manborg that special cassette tape, and then he's like, teaching Manborg how to be a hero. Well, basically the exact same thing happens in Dark City. Like he leaves an impression of himself, a memory behind to teach the main character how to be a hero. And I was just there thinking that. I was like, I don't know any of the movie where it's like that. I was like, I think this is directly inspired by Dark City, which is awesome. That's a fantastic movie.
That's a great movie. That's another one I need to watch again, which now that we have all this time, I need to start watching more movies, I suppose. But yeah,
I was
Dark
just watching
City.
Mandy today. Have you seen that?
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it's so good. I'm going to have Angello-shots watch it maybe later this weekend.
Yeah.
That's another podcast we can do.
Well, I feel like Mandy isn't a real B movie, though. You know what I mean? Like, we could, because I feel like Mandy is appreciated, though, enough. Because that is one awesome movie. I mean, gosh, the style of that is so interesting. And we just watched The Color Out of Space the other week. Same people that did Mandy. And that's also great. So
yeah, it was a really good movie.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to Manborg, not to get sidetracked too much. So
yeah, I thought Manborg was going to be like super serious, and then they start spitting out all this little, humor, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
And broken, scattered across the. Oh, hello.
Come on, guys.
I gotta go pet that little guy.
Well, it's legitimately funny too.
Yeah, it
is the
is.
thing. Yeah, Justice asks Manborg for his name, and so Manborg looks at his human hand and goes, "Man." Then he looks at his robot hand and goes, "Borg," and he's like all happy, and he's like, "Manborg," and Justice with his little weird Cockney accent is like, "Oi, your name's asshole," and just like gives it the finger instead.
My name is Manborg.
Manborg? More like asshole.
Why don't you?
Like, and we were just dying. I don't know if you remember that part where they're going through the slums. And for some weird reason, Justice is freaking out about the poor people, and he's like, "Why is that guy got lettuce on his head? He's poor."
The guy's house is made out of newspaper. That means he's poor.
This guy's house is made out of newspaper. He must be poor.
And they see the little person who talks like a Jawa for some reason, and like, "I'm gonna go pet this little guy."
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Stop your shenanigans.
You put those shenanigans back in your pocket.
Those are some pretty fancy shenanigans you pulled back there, Manborg.
He was just a big dumb animal, folks, and we loved him for it. Every bit of it. Every bit of it.
Comic relief right there.
Well, it's funny. That actor, he's like almost the same in all of their movies, just as far as like in almost all of their movies, he plays like a dumb guy in some way, even if he's like charming or interesting or whatever. Like,
he's still kind of dumb.
Like MIT in real life.
Yeah. So, James, do you have any other favorite parts you want to talk about?
The battle scenes are. What are you saying? The battle scenes are interesting because you take into consideration where they are. They're in a garage. They're in limited space, and they're still able to do this and make it look halfway cool while doing it. So I mean, the fight scenes are good. The battle scenes are good. It's just a good action flick. If you're into that sort of thing, you want to watch it and have some fun. You definitely won't disappoint.
Not at all.
Yes, I totally agree. So, Angello-shots, what are some of your final thoughts about the movie before we get into quotes?
I feel like I need to watch it more because I've only seen it once.
Mm-hmm.
And like James was saying, you watch it a couple times and you really start to see other things in the movie.
It's okay, Mina. You're safe now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say people that are watching it for like their first time, like pay attention to like the cityscape. Do you remember that part where he first wakes up and he's in the middle of that futuristic dystopia city?
Yes.
And it like the layers of special effects going on there is incredible.
Yeah.
You got green screen, of course, but then you have stuff being projected, chroma keyed into it. You have the basically like stop motion and all the different like robots and speeder bikes going around. Then you have like extras, which is probably them just in different costumes.
Right.
Like placed into the scene. Like it's just an amazing technical feat for a movie that cost, essentially like a few $1,000s. Absolutely unbelievably
Is that what the
impressive.
budget was?
James, do you still have IMDb up? I can't remember, but
I do.
The budget was like $5,000.
All right, here we go. I'm scrolling down, and it might not even. You know what? It doesn't even have a budget listed.
Yeah, I think I read that before, like in trivia, that was about what it cost them, because they built almost all their own stuff, just out of things they would find like at thrift stores, and they would go.
Like all the costumes and everything?
Oh, yeah. They'd go to junkyards to get their stuff. And,
really?
And all the guys that worked on that, they all have, practical experience and effects, by which I mean I think they're mostly self-taught.
Can we read some?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
You got to do the right voice, though.
All right, Justice. It says, trying to read a label for grenades.
Spell
All
them out.
Just sound it out. GR backwards 3?
I was telling Angello-shots, that reminds me of like Charlie and Always Sunny being like, hey, you think that door, they got a pirate back there?
Yeah.
Or my private.
Yeah, pirate, yeah. It perfectly encapsulates Justice's his personality and obviously his education background.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so to finish off our episode like we usually do, just think about your last piece of advice you could give the audience, but as a character from Manborg. What's something, so say who your character is, and then what advice would you give to the audience?
Okay. I'll go first.
Go for it.
All right, I'll go as Justice, because like I say, he's my favorite. Boy, watch this movie. It's a load of fun. Lucky for you, it's not in subtitles, so you don't have to read anything. And don't pay attention to the bad-looking stuff around. It's just part of the movie and part of the fun. It doesn't have really good effects, but that's okay. You won't even notice it that we're in front of a screen that's green.
And quit all your shenanigans.
Quit your shenanigans.
Oi! So I would say I would definitely give viewers a piece of advice from number one man. And I would just want to tell viewers, remember, the best thing to do is be loyal to your family. So I would say that's he's very stoic, kind of warrior.
Yes.
Cliches.
Yes. And uplifting.
Yes, absolutely. And then Angello-shots.
I'm terrible with accents.
No, you don't have to do an accent. Why don't you give some advice from the Baron? How to get the girl of your dreams, even if she's your prisoner in your futuristic Dracula fortress.
That was probably one of my favorite parts. He was so adorable with the flowers. It's just a weirdo, but
yeah.
I would say never give up on trying and going after the girl, and having confidence in yourself.
Yeah. Even
I like it.
Even if you have a messed up, gnarly face.
Yeah, even if you're, an eyeless Nazi demon from hell who's trying to murder all her friends, but still,
Yeah.
He thinks she's cute.
Exactly.
Why doesn't she like me?
So stupid. Well, good luck. Yeah!
Well, he's the nice guy from the internet. All he needs is fedora. He's like, I was nice to you. Don't you owe me sex now?
Bitch.
I brought you flowers and everything.
Come on. I told you that other internet troll was a jerk.
Yeah. But, all right, y'all, we're getting down to the end of time for our Manborg episode. So just want to thank you all for being guests for this episode. And, yeah, I guess we'll have to get together again for another one in the future.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks. Take care, James, you and your family.
All right. Hey,
All right,
I definitely do want to do a Father's Day episode at one point.
We will. Yeah, I'll need to do it on an empty stomach, but yeah, we will.
Oh, it's so bad.
It is.
All right. See y'all.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Bye. You too.